guess you all know who she is because you're here, right? It's Sydney Weisman, and she's doing a credit. Who put the Chutzpah in Broadway? Did I get it right? So we want to welcome all here. We want to ask you to please turn off your cell phones and no flash photography. You can do cell phone, videos or anything you want like that, but the flash is sometimes destructive. And then we want to tell you about, over here on that chair, there's some brochures for this series. Please take as many as you want. And there's also some postcards there. One is for a show that is coming up very soon with Marcia Harp, and I think I saw her here. Marcia Harp, over here, right. Hey, Marcia, hi. She's going to be doing a show. What's the date on your show?
Pardon me, the 26th of August.
26th of August, and it's called Behind the Curtain. Marcia is a former Palm Springs Follies star, and so she's going to tell some stories about all the shows she's been up to up until now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great show. She's a nice personality and beautiful voice. Every Saturday that she comes to AJ's on the Green, I'll give myself a plug. We have a wonderful cabaret open mic with Joel Baker on piano, and she comes over there and knocks them dead. Standing ovations, so please come back for her show.
Thank you,
absolutely. And there's also a postcard over there for Loretta Ciani, and her show is called There's No Business Like Show Business. So it's the music of Irving Berlin. But next week, I'm very excited, a friend of mine is coming. She now lives in Las Vegas, but she's from London. She did several shows on the West End, and then on Broadway, and then touring companies. She was even on the Tony Awards when they did the year that Mamma Mia was out. She was one of the three women, and she's up there in the front, and I play it over and over and watch it on YouTube. But her show is called The Broads of Broadway. So, every show they got to have a broad, right? So she's going to do the songs that they made famous. So it's her name's Rachel Tyler, and Wayne Bravenel will be playing for her. And I urge you, please come back for that and sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you.
with you. We are going to celebrate some wonderful songs, like the opening songs written by Irving Berlin, Lawrence Hart, and Richard Rodgers, all of whom were Jewish. Now, I guess that goes without saying that any show entitled Who Put the Chutzpah in Broadway is going to have something Jewish in it, because chutzpah in Yiddish means you got a lot of nerve. And it took a lot of nerve for a group of young men, really boys. I think of them really as the garage band of the 1900s. This group of young Jewish boys, all sons of Yiddish-speaking immigrants, poor, living in the tenements of Manhattan, pounding out music on parlor pianos, music they felt was their vision of the America they wanted to assimilate into. And America loved this music. In fact, this music went on to become Broadway musical theater. They created it, these boys. And American popular music. And this music shaped our lives. I mean, I know it shaped mine. In fact, I can remember when I was 6, and it was Yom Kippur, or Yom Kippur, for those of you who are classier. Where I come from, it was Yom Kippur. And we were living in an apartment on the west side of Chicago, and most Jews go to synagogue on this day. It is the holiest day in all of Judaism, where Jews fast and pray and atone. It's the Day of Atonement. But my parents weren't very religious. So my dad still wanted to observe the day, because his war buddy, Ray Duncan, was staying with us in the apartment. And so they went into the living room, and they pulled out all the shades. They pulled them all the way down. And they got these 2 stuffed chairs, and they sat in those 2 stuffed chairs. They put a record on the phonograph. They played that record all day, weeping and atoning. Weeping and atoning. I didn't know what to make of this scene, but the song on the phonograph, that song went right here, and it never left. Before Lord God made the sea and the land, He held all the stars in the palm of His hand, and they ran through His fingers like grains of sand, and one little star fell alone. Then the Lord God hunted through the wide night air for the little dark star on the wind down there, and He stated and promised He'd take special care so it wouldn't get lost no more. Now a man don't mind if the stars grow dim and the clouds grow over and darken Him, so long as the Lord God's watching over him, keeping track how it all goes on. But I've been walking through the night and the day till my eyes get weary and my head stars glowing through the night, and we're lost out here in the stars. That was written by Kurt Weill, who, yeah, amen, right? Who was a German Jewish immigrant. You may know some of his other songs. They may be more familiar to you, like September Song and Back the Night. Well, I had another epiphany when I was 6. Now, to understand it, you need to understand that at 6, I thought my parents and I were the Jews. The only Jews. I had no idea. And now it was Christmas time. And I was learning all this Christmas music. And I loved it. This is before multiculturalism. And I was so excited, especially about one song, White Christmas. And I came home and I told my mother how much I loved this song. And she said, well, you know, Irving Berlin wrote it. And he's Jewish. What? There's another one? And he wrote that song? And then I had to know who else was Jewish. Milton Berle? Yes. Dr. Lerner? Yes. Howdy Doody? No. As I got older, of course, I learned that many Jews wrote Christmas songs. Felix Mendelssohn wrote Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I know. So I was in a show a few years ago back in LA, and the producer asked, does anyone know an obscure Christmas song? And it just so happened I did. Christmas time is here, by golly, disapproval would be folly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fill the cups and don't say when, kill the turkeys, ducks and chickens, mix the punch, drag out the dickens. Even though the prospect sickens, brother, here we go again. On Christmas Day you can't get sore, your fellow man you must adore. There's time to rob him all the more, the other 364 relations sparing no expense will send some useless old utensil or a matching pen and pencil, just the thing I need. How nice. It doesn't matter how sincere it is or how heartfelt the spirit, sentiment will not endear it. What's important is the price. The Herald Tribune sings, advertising wondrous things. music was used on PBS's The Electric Company. Now, when he wasn't writing Christmas music, Irving Berlin and his colleagues like the Gershwins, Ira and George, and Jerome Kern, and Leah Parberg, and Lawrence Hart, were watching their Broadway phenomenon bloom and blossom and evolve, and it grew, and along came other generations of Broadway composers, many of them Jewish, like Sheldon Harnick, who did Fiddler, and Marvin Hamlisch, who did a chorus line, Betty Comden and Adolph Green, who did Wonderful Town, Jerry Herman, Mame, and Hello Dolly. And during this kind of 70-year span, songs in their structure stayed pretty much the same. I'm not saying they were formulaic, but the way a song was built was the same. And then along in the 70s came this young whippersnapper named Stephen Sondheim. And he blew the whole thing up. His songs were melodically intricate and interwoven, and his lyrics were dense and emotional and psychologically powerful. And he became the critical darling of Broadway. In fact, he was so critically acclaimed that everybody wants to be Sondheim, but me. Everybody wants to be Sondheim, but me. And so they write a melody that goes somewhere unexpectedly, 'cause they think that's how you get to be like Sondheim. Listen as they hammer out one chord. Listen as they hammer it till everybody's bored. That's the way they pray to their Lord, Mr. Sondheim. And they pack their lyrics till they're so damn dense you could put them in your yard and you could use them for a fence. And they honestly believe that they have captured the sense of Sondheim. Well, I want to be Oscar Hammerstein. I want to be Cole Porter. What's wrong if the song is prettier or clearer or shorter? Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. Everybody wants to be Sondheim but me. And so they offer no relief from their storm and dragon, angst and grief. And all that pain is never brief. Oh no. Listen as they hammer out one chord. Listen till you're ready for the lunatic ward. It's no wonder Sweeney Todd went off of his board, Mr. Sondheim. I want to be Richard Rogers. I want to be Jerry Herman. So what if I'm writing songs for the ghost of Ethel Merman? She's got rhythm. Everybody wants to be Sondheim today. But I don't want to be Sondheim, no way. I don't want to write another Sunday in the Park. I don't want to write the next Into the Woods. I admire his style, but his style is not mine. And yet, the epidemic can't be curbed. Even Stephen would be disturbed to see what he has spawned universally. 'Cause everybody wants to be Sondheim. Everybody wants to finish the hat. Everybody wants to be Sondheim, but yours truly. Everybody wants to assault your ear. Don't send in the clones. They're already here. Everybody wants to be Sondheim. Rhymed every time to rhyme internally. Everyone's coming up Sondheim. But that was written by LA singer-songwriter Alan Chapman. Did you sneeze?
Yes.
God bless you. Or Gesundheit. Well, loved and revered, and deservedly so, as Mr. Sondheim is, he never had a hit song. Except for one song. Isn't it